Okay, so carrying on with this, kind of encountered an issue with my screen recording. Okay, so carrying on. Where did we stop? So yes, I kind of group this base fabric heights. Okay, so I would add a white marks in there. Now come in here again. I hit hex on the keyboard to kind of push it to the black region, so kind of subtract instead. I want to subtract these two. Subtract these two from it. Also subtract. Let me. It should be on. Is your mesh fill? Let me do this on mesh fill instead. It's preferable to do it on mesh fill instead. So subtract these two. Also need to kind of subtract this tool. Also subtract these two. Okay. That should be fine. Oh, one more thing. I also need to subtract this also. These two. I'll hit X on the keyboard and then add this back to this. Okay. So we also need to do the same for, let me put this bright wood. So to do the same in here, I'll just put a white marks in here. I'll need to subtract so I hit X on the keyboard. Need to subtract these two. Okay, but I need to bring this back on this, so I hit X again and just add it back to this. Okay, so this should just be a normal regular plane, just a plane. Yeah, something like this should be fine. I'll just leave that as it is. That should work just fine. Okay, maybe do the same for this lower part. Let's see. I would need to exclude this two, X again, push it all the way to white, and select this and add this back to this. I think this should be just fine. Something like this should work just fine. Yeah, this is fine. Alright, so now that we have this clean version of this hoodie, too much clean version to it, it's a cleaner version to it. I think I can now break this up and add a more, kind of make this a more dirty version, which is more or less like using this one. This one looks quite aggressive though. This one looks really aggressive. Maybe that's just what we need. This one looks quite just generally dirty. Probably we should kind of have a blend of two. Can probably have a blend of two. Okay, yeah, let's have a blend of two. We can use ideas from this and also ideas from this. The ideas from this we can use. Let's start with this. Okay, so to get started with this, definitely need to create a new fill layer for this. I don't need metallicness in here. Roughness, I'll take this. Let's have this as rough as so. As rough as this, that should be fine. Then the color tone, let's pick the color from this. Let's start with this, a good base. You can start with this as a good base for this. Kind of have that dirty look on top of it. But we can't just use it like this the way it is. We need to kind of use a mask to kind of break up the surface a bit more. So let me just name this to base dirt or dust. Okay, let's call it dust instead. So I'm going to go to my smart marks in here. I'm going to use like a dust. No, it's like a dust. The dust material on this. So we have dust, dirt, okay, dusty, dusty. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go with something more or less like so. So I'm just going to click and drag and drop this on this layer. So that will automatically create a black marks and then add that generator or that smart mask filter to it. Then we'll just give this a moment to load. Which is strange. Okay, yes, it's loading now, better. So now we have something like this, which, oh man. So when you encounter issues like this, all you have to do is just to come to the texture set settings and then change this to 2K. Then take it all the way back to 4K. I think that should fix it. You just need to recalculate the size. Oh man. It does not want to work. I think I'll just have to work with this at 2K resolution instead. Okay. So with that in there now, I think I'll need to manipulate and then change this up a bit more. So let's come to the max generator. Into the max generator in here. Let's begin to play with some of the settings we have in here. Probably even blow this out a bit more. Okay. Let's see. This is actually a good base. This is actually a good base. Okay. Can definitely work with this. So another thing I need to do is to just duplicate the same layer. Ctrl D to duplicate the layer. Let's not duplicating. Ctrl D, better. Then I'll clear out these marks. For this, I'll use a much browner tone to it. So something around here should be fine. Maybe a bit browner like so. And towards the darker parts, something like this should be fine. Then on this, I'm going to add another. Let's try this. Let's try some depth instead. Let's try some depth instead. So we have this depth dry. Let's drag and drop this in here. This looks way too aggressive. This is just way too aggressive. Let's try this on here. Yes, yes, this is a better one to use. This looks slightly better than the previous one. So you can see how this kind of breaks up the surface even more. So now what I would like to even do here now is to even kind of start painting by hand where I want some of this depth to be. Start painting this by hand. So let's draw reference from this other part also. Okay, since we can use this now as another reference point kind of painting where we want this second depth to be. Okay, so let's start painting on this. So I'm using the depth brush for this. So to paint that, let's name this to probably name this to brown depth. Okay, brown depth should work just fine. I'm still kind of eyeballing the height map for this. Still feels a bit harsh. Our height map still feels a bit harsh. So let me just go into the height map and then pick this down a bit more, like around here, like so. Come in here also and bring this around here also, just to make it slightly soft. Something a bit softer like this should be more or less fair enough, I guess. Okay, so back to the brown depth. So to paint this now, we have to kind of add a, you can't paint this with these marks anymore. We have to paint this with the, by adding a paint layer on this. So you can now manually paint on this. Let me just drag this all the way here. Put this all the way here. I'll start painting. Take this down a bit more. I'll start painting some depth around this. So this is like the fun part for this entire process. So texturing the character. Since I don't want to go too crazy on this though, so let me just take down the flow again and just splash this all over the place. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we have for the back. So we need to kind of paint in so a bit more depth around this region. Or it should be more like sweatiness around, just kind of sweatiness around here. But it shouldn't be too obvious though, because it's more like an armless kind of distance. So even if the sweat is kind of dripping from his armpit, it shouldn't be very obvious around here. So I want to use a more darker tone to kind of do that though later on. After this, so let's see. I think this should be fine. I don't want to go, trying to avoid going overboard on this. This is already passing the, go X on the keyboard and then erase some of this at the back. I think we should do this for this instead. This base depth, and we increase this a bit more, and erase this part on that part. It's not, but that's not looking realistic enough. So let me just erase that on that part. I'll do this also in here. So anything that we have in there, we're gonna erase that on that part because I don't think there will be much dirt affecting that region. I don't think there's dirt at the back of this here. So for this hoodie also, I will not want to have too much dirt on this hoodie. I think that base dust should work just fine for it. Let's eliminate most of what we have for this under part. That feels quite unrealistic. Okay, so this should be fine. So I'm going to kind of duplicate this same, not the same layer though. Okay, this is just going to be by hand, so I'm just going to duplicate the same layer. Then I'll add the black marks. Then this should be a much darker tone to it, so I'll just push this all the way to a much darker value. So yes, so we can let's run a test for this and let's see. Yes, perfect. This is a more blacker or darker tone to it, so I'm just going to spray this around here like so. Spray some on this side. This should have more effect around here. Let me spray it around here a bit more. Enough to stain this part. I'm still going to take down the intensity though, and even blur it out even more. But for now, let's just spray it around here. So it's just gonna be like a kind of sweat dirt around the armpit region. Probably get some here. Some at the back also around this M. Okay. Something more or less like so. I think this should be fine. Then I can just add a blur filter to this. So filter, add a blur filter just to soften it out. Increase it a bit more. Maybe that's way too much. Something like this should be fine. Then take down the overall intensity of, no, maybe not too much. Something around here should be just fine. Alright, I think this should be fine. I don't want to go overboard on this. I still need to erase some of this. So I'll come in here and then just hit X on the keyboard and erase. I don't want to be too intense erasing that. So I'm just going to go light-handed. I still need at least some of them in there, but not so much. I think something like this should work just fine. I believe this should be fine for now. I don't want to go crazy on this. Going crazy on this will just make it look very unrealistic. So let's drop in some shadows in here. Let's see what we have. Alright. Let's try another light environment in here. Even better. Alright, it looks fine. can definitely work with this. This will work just fine. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye for now.